Myself Subrata Mukherjee, and I am working as Associate Professor in Mahadevananda Mahavidyalaya, Barakpur. Today I am going to discuss a problem on labor variance.
The standard labor complement and the actual labor complement engaged in a week for a job are as under. You have three types of labor: skilled workers, semi-skilled workers and unskilled workers. Standard number of workers in the gang 32, 12, 6. Standard wage rate per hour 3, 2, 1. Actual number of workers employed in the gang during the week 28, 18, 4. Actual wage rate per hour 4, 3, 2. During the 40-hour working week, the gang produced 1,800 standard hours, labor hours of work. Calculate labor variances. I have presented the data which is given in the question in this table. Let me explain how I have presented the data in this table. Now there are three types of workers working. One is skilled, the other one is semi-skilled, and the third is unskilled. So there are three types of workers. Now consider the standard column. So it is expected that 32 workers will work for 40 hours. So this will give 1280 hours. So standard hours they are going to produce. Now semi-skilled 12 workers into 40, 480, and unskilled 6 workers into 40 hours a week, 240 hours. So actually there will be 2000 hours of input, and there is no loss due to maintenance, and 2000 hours of input will lead to 2000 hours of output. But actual data is something different. So there are 28 skilled workers, 18 semi-skilled workers and 4 unskilled workers. And each type of worker will work 40 hours a week. So altogether skilled workers will work for or has worked for 1120 hours. Semi-skilled workers have worked for 720 hours and unskilled workers have worked for 160 hours. So total input hours is 2000, but actual output is 1800 hours, which is given in the question. So there is a loss of 200 hours, and the standard rate and actual rate already mentioned. So as we have solved the problems on material variance, so if there are more than one type of material as input, we have to calculate 5 parameters. And similarly in labor variance also, when there are more than one type of worker, you need to calculate 5 parameters. Standard hour, standard rate, actual hours, actual rate, and revised standard hours is calculated for calculating mixed variance and labor sub-efficiency variance or labor yield variance. Now let me explain how to calculate the standard hours. So SH, this is standard hours for actual output. Now this output can be in production or this can be in hours. So in this question it is given in hours. So skilled, unskilled and semi-skilled. So this will be 1280 by 2000 into 1800. So 1152 hours. This will be 480 by 2000 into 1800. This is 432 hours. And the last one is 240 by 2000 into 1800 is 216 hours. Now this is the portion, this is the standard portion. I have taken it from here. And this is the output. So this is the actual output. This is the output hours, standard output hours. And this is also the actual output hours, at 1800. So this is parameter 1 that we have calculated, standard hours for actual output. The second parameter is this one, standard rate. This is standard rate. I am not going to write it again. So standard rate 3, 2 and 1 for skilled, semi-skilled and unskilled. This is actual hours. So actual hours for skilled worker is 1120. Actual hours for semi-skilled worker is 720 hours, and actual hours worked by unskilled workers is 160 hours. And this is actual rate. So standard rate is the second parameter, actual hour is the third parameter, fourth actual rate 432 per hour. This is the fourth parameter, and the last one RSH, that is revised standard hours for actual input. Again, this actual input may be for, this is given as 2000 hours. Okay, so for skilled this will be 1280 by 2000. This 2000 is the input, standard input hour into 2000. This is the actual input. This is actual input hours. So this is 1280 hours. So RSH for skilled workers is 1280. Semi-skilled, this is 480 by 2000 into 2000. This will give you 480 hours. And unskilled, this will be 240 by 2000 into 2000. This will give you 240 hours. So I have calculated all the 5 parameters. So I request all the students to give some time, to devote some time to understand what are the 5 parameters you need to work. Devote some time to analyze how the parameters I have calculated, and then you proceed to calculate all the sub-variances. First is labor cost variance. This is the formula for labor cost variance. Standard hour into standard rate minus actual hour into actual rate. So for skilled, ₹1024 adverse. So we are calculating a cost variance. So since the actual cost is more than the standard cost, so you have a adverse variance, and if your standard cost is more than actual cost, it will be favorable variance. For semi-skilled 1296 adverse and unskilled 104 adverse. So total labor cost variance is 2424 adverse. Labor rate variance is calculated by this formula, SR minus AR into AH. Now I will just put the values as calculated above. Now for labor rate variance for skilled worker is 1120 adverse. Labor rate variance for semi-skilled worker is 720 rupees adverse, and for unskilled workers is 160 adverse. So total labor rate variance is 2000 adverse. Labor efficiency variance is calculated by this formula, standard hour minus actual hour into standard rate. So labor efficiency variance for skilled worker 96 rupees favorable. This will be favorable because your actual cost is less than the standard cost. For labor efficiency variance for semi skilled worker is 576 adverse, and for unskilled worker this is 56 adverse. So these two will be added, favorable values will be added and subtracted from the adverse one. So 424 adverse. So labor efficiency variance is divided into, it has two sub variances, labor mix variance and labor sub efficiency variance or yield variance. Labor mix variance or gang variance, it is calculated by this formula, RSH minus AH into SR. So labor mix variance for skilled workers 480 favorable, for semi-skilled worker 480 adverse, so these two will cancel out, and for semi-skilled worker this is 80 favorable. So total labor mix variance is 80 rupees favorable. Labor yield variance or labor sub-efficiency variance is calculated by this formula, SH minus RSH into SR. So labor yield variance for skilled worker is 384 adverse, for semi-skilled workers it is 96 adverse, and for unskilled worker is 24 adverse. So total labor yield variance is 504 adverse. This is the reconciliation statement. Labor cost variance is 2424 adverse. It is subdivided into labor rate variance 2000 adverse and labor efficiency variance 424 adverse. Labor efficiency variance has two sub-variants, labor mix variance and labor yield variance or labor sub-efficiency variance, 80 favorable and 504 adverse.
Hope you have understood the problem, and I request all students who are studying commerce to subscribe my channel to get regular updates. Thank you.